Coming to you from Phoenix, Arizona, home of Super Bowl 57, it's the Gary Stein and Stevens Show with your hosts, Troy Gibb. Dave Stevens having just too much fun on Radio Row. Super Bowl 57 at my home in the Valley of the Sun here downtown in Phoenix, Arizona at the Convention Center. And I am so excited. We got a treat. We've been sitting here for a half hour just shooting the breeze with a legend in my mind. And my son's going to be so mad that I've got a former Boston Red Sox with me, former Diamondback, a couple other teams out there. Shea Hillenbrand joining us from Radio Row. Yeah. He's a baseball player, and it's okay to talk some baseball because we got too much football going on around here. But two-time All-Star, played with the Red Sox, a couple of seasons with the Diamondbacks back home where he went to, I think it was Mesa High School you went to?
Mountain View High School.
Mountain View, yes. My ex-girlfriend went there. Hi, Michelle.
So am I.
Yeah. Do they know each other?
I don't know.
Wait a second.
But the problem is my PR guy told me this was the All-Star break for baseball, so I think I'm at the wrong event. Crap. I don't know anything about football.
So we're just going to talk baseball. He was with the Giants, the Angels, the Dodgers. I mean, you had a good career even moving around so much. I mean, what do you say that longevity? I mean, you had a long career, over 1,000 hits, 100 home runs, and you got to play in some amazing ballparks. So how did you have that longevity when other guys would just come and go?
It's one of those things where it comes down to putting the work in and not giving up. And so many days with myself and so many other players where you wake up, you want to give up because it's so hard. There's so much, like baseball is all built around failure. Like everything's against you. I had to pivot. I was drafted by the Red Sox as a shortstop. First 10 games in pro ball, I made 14 errors. And if you don't know baseball, that sucks.
Yeah.
And so the manager came up to me and said, hey, do you want to play third? Do you want to play first? Yeah, get me out of here. So I played third and first, and I was player of the year because I was able to hit. And then after that, they said, do you want to learn how to catch? So I went to Australia to learn how to catch. I'm on the fast track to the big leagues in Double-A. And then from there, I tore my ACL on my right knee, done halfway through the season. Took me off the 40-man roster. I had a choice to sit there and complain about it or take what I had and do everything I could to put myself back on track to go to the top, because my vision as a kid was to go out there and become a Major League Baseball player. So I go to spring training in 01 as a catcher, and I make it all the way through spring training. I'm coming from Double-A, and I thought I was going to Triple-A to be the starting catcher, and the manager calls me to the office the very last game of spring training, and he says, congratulations, you made this team. I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, is Ashton Kutcher here? Am I getting punked? Seriously, like, what? How did I make it? I put my head down, and I didn't allow anything to distract my focus. I created my own lane, and I just worked. And I observed everybody around me. I observed the guys that were doing good. I observed the guys that weren't doing good. And I just implemented that into my program, and I wasn't afraid to fail, put myself out there, because I just have that. I don't know if you guys follow Tim Grover, but I have that cleaner mindset like Kobe Bryant and Michael, Dwayne Wade. Like, I just go and go and go. I've swung a baseball bat nearly 2 million times. But the problem is, in the prime of my career, I was so empty because I sold my soul to the game that I had become numb to everyone and everybody around me. And here I am as I apexed at the top of the mountain of Major League Baseball. Man, I got private jets, multiple cars, mansions, 300 pairs of shoes, anything and everything I wanted, but I was empty. I was numb to everything and everybody around me, and that's why I'm out here this weekend trying to share my message and my story, because I vanished. I quit. I walked away. I left $50 million of earnings on the table because I hated my life. I'm flying to the All-Star game in 2005 from here in a private jet. I look out the window. I'm like, is this all life has to offer? Like, this is it? And so many athletes out there, it's hard for us to articulate it and have a voice because we have to focus with the sell our soul of the game because we're doing something that so many people don't have the opportunity to do so. So I pursued my second childhood dream of owning a zoo. So I purchased a horse farm in Gilbert, Arizona. I accumulated 300 farm and exotic animals. I had camels, kangaroos, llamas, alpacas, monkeys, raccoons. And everybody, like they told me to bring my ponies into the clubhouse, man. And I said, no, dude. So I had a vision in my head to pursue my second childhood dream of helping inner city kids, disabled kids, and child crisis children in my community with my animals. And I transformed so many lives. The feeling I got was priceless. But I was still empty. So it lead us to 8 years ago, I found myself in the floor of a van parked outside my ex-wife's house. I had overdosed on drugs and alcohol. I had nothing left in my life. I was down to my last breath. And as I'm laying on the floor of this van, there's so many envy, the person that so many people envy, the thoughts going through my mind as a soul screaming at the top of my head. And I'm thinking under my last breath because my identity, because the stories that I told myself that I can't be anything if I'm not a Major League Baseball player. The thoughts going through my mind are, you're a failure, you're a loser, you've lost everything, you're a hypocrite. What would your parents think you left this world today, Shea? What kind of dad would do this to his kids? My answer to that was, like so many athletes here, is, I don't know. I'm nothing if I don't have baseball. So I just let go. I don't know if I died or fell asleep, but by the grace of God, the next day I woke up, came to, concoction of pills and alcohol I consumed the night before. I should have had two options, brother. I should have either been dead or in a hospital because I was trying to numb and run and flee from that pain. That pain that so many of us go through, some of the fans, some of the listeners go through out there right now, is that pain. We all have wounds, and pain not transformed is transmitted. So I had to take back control of my life. I had to create momentum in my life. And then God provided certain people, strategic people in my life to provide me direction, accountability, and help me to create the Shea Hillenbrand you see today with a smile and fulfillment of purpose and trying to use my voice to help other people find theirs and say there's hope.
It is so eerie to hear that story because, and I don't talk about this much, obviously, because, we sometimes our past is not our future. We just kind of let it go. And, I had lost both of my parents and I, turned to cocaine for about a year. And again, being an athlete without legs, who everybody put on this pedestal that was so special, I was coked out of my brain one day in a jacuzzi. And I looked up much like you. And I thought, if my dead parents could see me, my coaches could see me, everybody that believed in me. And I decided that day and then that I was going to turn my life around and get back, much like you, on the right track, thanks to God and what we believe to be God and the people that, turn to him in those crisis times. And, I've been clean and sober since January of 87. But I see the mistakes. I see, I saw the minor leaguers. I was in New Britain. So I saw the twins, the pups, the big poppies, David Ortiz and those guys buying their weed from the clubhouse attendant and knowing
Wait, don't be saying the secrets, bro. What happens in the clubhouse stays in the clubhouse, bro. Especially the Barry Bonds stories.
It was unbelievable to see, and I'm so glad that, like, they've legalized marijuana for the recovery and everything like that. But to just see that different side of baseball is these young kids with no guidance and
Zero.
Let's go out to the bars, let's party, and you're going to have that lifestyle for 8 to 10 years, and then when that career is over, what happens when the music is gone and the fans are gone? And for you, that low point is, to be able to turn that around and to do what you're doing is just, I don't talk about it that much, and I'm really moved by your story. It's so powerful. But okay, enough of the downers part. Let's talk about the positive stuff. Yeah, I'm gonna get all choked up here. You take it away, Troy, while I wipe my tears away.
The biggest part, of playing baseball is mentality. When you're in a slump, trying to get out of it. We do mindfulness coaching. Kind of talk about that.
Yeah, that's a great concept. Not many people have asked me that question. I do podcasts all the time. I speak from stages all over the world. I share my story and all that stuff. But what happens is when you get into a slump, like baseball is like life, right? Like you fail 7 out of 10 times. I'm having success 3 times out of 10. Like in 04, I hit 310 for the D-backs. I had 580 plate appearances. If you do the math, 310 and 580 is I failed 400 times out of 580, and they paid me so much money. It's stupid. I didn't know what to do with it. So it's a matter of keeping those promises to yourself. When you get into that slump, I don't believe there's any superstitions in life. There's no superstitions in baseball. What you're trying to do is keep your mind focused on one specific thing. I call it a specific focus instead of a generalized focus. Because when you have a generalized focus with all these thoughts going through your mind, that's when it causes confusion in your mind, and the byproduct of that is low self-confidence. So when I'm stepping to the plate and I'm struggling, I need to keep the promises to myself to gain my self-confidence back. I have my swing inside myself. I already have it there. I already know how to hit. But what happens is our mind gets detracted from that and the pressure. Am I going to have my job tomorrow? The guy behind me, I got to perform. Am I going to play? Like so many stupid things that we deal with as celebrity or professional athletes that a lot of people don't understand. But it all comes back to what's relatable to the audience is you must keep the promises to yourself. I did a coaching call with one of my clients yesterday, and he's struggling in his life. He's a successful business guy. And I said, dude, you have to keep the promise to yourself. What does that mean? So if I say I'm going to wake up at 7 o'clock, I'm going to wake up at 7 o'clock. I'm going to put a technique in place to get myself up. Then I'm going to have a strategic process to go to. I'm going to go use the bathroom. Then I'm going to get dressed. I'm going to get water. I'm going to do breathing exercises. I'm going to go start moving. You have to do things to get going to have that specific focus because the uncluttered mind is systematic. So when you have that, you push yourself past that negative thinking, past those limited beliefs. I call it people stuck inside their internal zoo. And you go out there and you just got to keep the promise to yourself. You got to take delight and the discipline it takes to put the work in, and don't focus on the results. So many of us want instant gratification right now. So many of us want the shiny objects right now. And like, I was a two-time All-Star third baseman in the major leagues. I have zero clue how to field a ground ball. I can't tell you how many times I had a routine ground ball hit to me. And if you bobble a ball in the big leagues, you suck, because it's like pristine. And I get a routine ground ball, but I go through my process, read the ground ball for speed, location, and hop, set up for the ground ball, get my feet moving towards the target, which is step 3, and pick up my target and throw. If I did that process over and over 10,000 times, I can't not have consistent success. So I throw a ball to first base in front of the fans, and I'd be like, yeah, I got another one there. But you don't notice that. I'm playing in all-star games, and I'm like, how the F am I here? It's the process. It's diligently putting in the work and executing. So many of us get the ideas of the fantasies of what we want to achieve, and it's like, oh, I want to make the big leagues. Go work. Go work. I get up in the middle of the night and throw the medicine ball against the wall at the high school. Then I was in the minor leagues. I'm like, I have to work now because I'm not the most talented. And if I do that, that's what gives me the edge on my competition. Cop pulls up. What are you doing here? Oh, I'm working out. It's 2 a.m. You can't be here. He thought I was breaking into school. I'm looking at the cop like he's crazy. Like, this is what it takes to go to the top. And the cop's looking at me like I'm crazy. So he kicked me out of the school. What did I do? I had a decision to make. Do I want to quit, or do I got to keep finishing my workout? I went behind 7-Eleven, and I'm throwing the medicine ball against the wall with the bums. And they're looking at me like they saw a freaking alien. But that's what it takes. It's not no very little talent. It's mindset. It's putting the work and getting that belief in yourself.
So
sorry, man. I went on a tangent.
that's all right. No, man, we don't get to pick the brain of guys that hit 300 in the major leagues. I mean, that's nothing. You're a 2-time All-Star. Heck, a 1-time All-Star is, unbelievable. But for you, I want to know what causes a slump. Like, how do you suddenly have to have a hitting coach work with you differently and change things when it's kind of your whole entire process of hitting, but the slumps do happen. I know it is partial mental, but then the coaches are trying to fix it, and I'm just wondering how did you deal with those slumps, and what causes those slumps?
What causes those slumps is very bad. This is amazing. I'm glad I came here to share this. What causes slumps is what's translatable to life with everybody out there. Broken focus is the number one reason for failure. Broken focus is the number one reason for failure with anybody out there, but especially with baseball. Okay, if I'm not focused, then what happens is I'm not going to be on time. I have to understand my swing, and I have to get there consistently. What separates the big poppies, the Barry Bonds, the Manny Ramirez, the Mike Trouts, the Miguel Cabreras, all these guys that are superstars and $400 million contracts, they get there consistently. Their timing is consistent. The idea of a pitcher in the big leagues is to throw your timing off. You have one pitch in that bat to do anything with in the big leagues. So I have to be able to focus. And if I'm not focused, relaxed, my body has to relax to be able to react to the pitch, then I'm going to get myself thrown off. I have to focus on swinging at strikes and being on time. But doing that day in and day out, every single night, 5 at-bats in front of 40,000 fans in a major league stadium facing major league pitchers is nearly impossible. So it pretty much drives you insane. So that's what it did to me. Is like it ultimately drove me nuts, and I had a lot of pain inside myself, and I attached that pain to the game, and ultimately I hate what I'm doing right now.
But what about when a coach comes up to you and tells you things that he thinks is good for you, and it's not, and you're a rabble rouser or whatever else? He's not listening to the coaches. He's not doing that. I mean, because it's your body, you kind of know yourself sometimes, but you are an employee too. So how does that work?
So what happens is my first thought process was to tell him to go to hell, because we always say it's my numbers on the back of the bubblegum card. It's my numbers on the back of the baseball card. So what happens is I'm responsible for that. A coach is just a resource, especially a hitting coach. Your number one resource you're going to have inside of a major league clubhouse is the video guy. There's always a video guy in there videoing every at-bat, every pitch. And what he'll do is he'll go over the videos and analyze, say, Shea, you were doing this here, and this is what you're doing now. But one of the things and I'm surprised I did it, because I'm like, no one taught me. I taught myself. I wouldn't listen to anybody. I really didn't fit in the clubhouse. That's why I ended up where I was. But I was always open I was always allowing people to talk to me, and I wasn't like, screw you, forget that. But if you're open to it, and if you're open to the ideas, and if you're responsible to retain that information, like the cognitive thinking aspect of it, okay, you're going to tell me something that you think it is. I'm going to listen to you, and I'm telling you 9 times out of 10, it wasn't that. But your idea of what you presented to me would stimulate thought inside myself, and I'd figure it out myself. And that's what happens at that level, at the measuring level. So it's not like at the lower levels where you got to rely, like at that level, like I'm going to a Manny Ramirez or I'm going to a Barry Bonds and say, dude, like this guy's making $30 million right now. That dude knows how to hit. And I go to them and say, hey, dude, what do you think about this? And what do you think about that? What do you think about this? You have to be a student of the game. Regardless of where you are, what you're doing, whatever you're trying to achieve, you must be a student of the game and never stop learning whatever you're trying to do. Right now, I'm in the speaking space. I have energy. I have passion. I have a GoPro set up right here. I'm videoing this. I'm analyzing it. I'm going back and seeing what I could do. I'm asking people like yourself, what do you think I could do here? What do you think I could do there? What do you think with your experience? And when you do that, you start elevating yourself above where you think you can go.
That is just great advice. That is just awesome. And speaking of awesome things, I got to talk about our sponsors, Fresh Clean Breads, who have given us an opportunity to give you an opportunity to have some of the best looking t-shirts and clothing and jackets and things that they have. It's a Super Bowl exclusive. Go to freshcleantees.com/GSS show. Type in the show code touchdown, 25% off. We've been giving these shirts out left and right. People love them. I've been wearing them. All the ladies online have been saying, hey, Dave, you put that black shirt today. So thank you to people out there watching that again. freshcleantees.com/GSS show for your Super Bowl exclusive. Come on, Troy. Super Bowl exclusive.
Oh yeah, touchdown.
There you go.
There we go.
I think Troy's asleep. What the heck's going on over here? Wake up!
There we go, Troy.
It's the mic. I
I
can't.
know, yeah. Man of mine. Troy, take over the second segment.
So yeah, I want to ask you about you've been around with the Red Sox, the Diamondbacks, Toronto. What's your favorite ballpark and your favorite city to play in?
Good question. Favorite ballpark was Fenway Park, Red Sox Nation. The funniest thing is I was drafted out of junior college my sophomore year. I was the number 1 player in Arizona at the junior college level. I was drafted by a shortstop in the 10th round by the Red Sox. At 20 years old, I told all my friends I was drafted by the White Sox. Like that. Like, what are you talking about, dude? What's wrong with you, dude? Like Red Sox Nation, man. 6 states, New England, like Red Sox Yankees rivalry. Like 1918, last time they won the World Series. The kids, like Fever Pitch, the movie. Like, wait, dude. I grew up a diehard Dodger fan in LA in the 1980s, man. You show up in the 3rd and leave in the 7th to beat traffic, and you listen to Vince Scully on the radio.
Yeah, you're watching Steve Garvey.
I'm going to the big leagues, bro. So, but Boston was in my blood. I wanted to play my whole career there. Apparently, I took actions that weren't conducive to the environment of the team. So they said, no, you're not really good to play for us anymore. So we're going to trade you. Actually, I was really tradable because I was just came off an all-star year. And then coming back home here in Arizona, that was fun. But Arizona is like a transient state. You got a lot of fans from different states that relocate here, that whatever. So that was cool. Surprisingly, growing up in LA, San Francisco, it's like, oh, the Giants, oh, like you just like, like I enjoyed playing. I enjoyed playing at every place that I played. The different cities was really cool. I always liked playing out west. But my favorite team to play for, by far, was the one that paid me the most.
That's right. That's right. So how did you end up in Arizona as a kid?
14 years old, I'm sitting on my bed and my dad walks into my room. I just finished 9th grade, which is junior high in California, going into my sophomore year of high school. And these are formative years of my life, and I found my identity through sports, soccer and baseball, and my community of friends. I struggled with my internal game, my identity of who I was as a kid, and I was able to find my out through sports because I was always one of the better kids and athletes. My dad walks into my room and drops a bombshell on me right before my sophomore year of high school. He says, son, we're moving out of state. I was like, what? So what happened was the story I told myself when my dad left the room that day was I'm not lovable, I'm not good enough, and my dad doesn't love me. Because how can he take me from my community of friends? Mind you, I'm 14. And if you don't have anybody help you understand how to navigate these experiences, how you interpret and communicate that experience is going to form a story in your head. And that story in your head is what ultimately broke me. Because I never thought I was good enough. I always thought if I just reached this, I would be good enough in my Father's eyes. If I just accomplish this here, people will think I'm worthy because I never thought I was worthy enough as myself as a person because I thought I was the biggest piece of garbage in the world. Here I am hitting a game-winning home run off Mariano Rivera at Fenway Park, the first Red Sox player to do it ever. I'm rounding first base, the ground is shaking, all because of what I did. My teammates went out that night and just party with arguably the best fans in baseball in town. Everything, I went straight home. I didn't let myself celebrate. I didn't let myself relish in that moment, a defining moment in my career that people still talk about 10 years, 13 years later. Because that pain, I was like, I got to do this. If I don't perform tomorrow, I'm not going to be good enough. And if I'm not good enough, I'm not going to have a job. If I don't have a job, I'm not going to have an identity. If I don't have an identity, then I might as well just put a pistol in my mouth and do myself in because I'm nothing if I don't have baseball, like I tell you in the story. So moving from California to Arizona was very difficult for me. I became the number one soccer player in Arizona. I had chances to play at universities overseas. I was way better at soccer, but my childhood dream as an LA baseball fan was I'm going to play Major League Baseball. And I actually walked on at the junior college after high school. I had no options to go anywhere. The only reason I made the team, my work ethic, brother. And I can't stress that enough to people out there. You have to execute. You have to create that discipline. So what's crazy is I peel back the layers of my onion. I cut my parents out of my whole career. And I have to live with that. My entourage is at the All-Star game. I have my homeboys, everybody there, and my parents are up at the third deck in Detroit, Comiskey. No, that's Chicago. I don't even know what city we play in.
America, yeah.
I don't even like baseball. My dad and mom are sitting at the top deck, humiliating themselves, telling the fans around them, the security guards, the usher, that's my boy down there playing. And they're looking at him like, well, if that's your boy playing third base, why are you guys up here? I don't know, but I love him. And I'm on that field in front of millions of people in the Midsummer Classic looking up. I freaking hate that guy. I hate that guy. Because the story I told myself. So as I peeled back the layers of my onion when I left Major League Baseball, when I got off the floor of that van, what I realized is that my dad moved us to Arizona to give me a chance to play Major League Baseball. I would have been lost in the sea of baseball players in Southern California. They did that. And I was talking to my mom, like, why didn't you tell me? Because the story I told myself led me to the spot to drive this wedge inside a relationship, and I had to live with that. But gratefully, I was able to reconnect with my father afterwards. And a couple years later, he passed away. And he's on the floor of my mom and dad's living room because he donated his body to science. And when they're taking his body away, I leaned over and kissed my dad in the forehead. And I said, Dad, I'm going to use my voice to impact the world and show the world that you created a person that's worthy enough to go out there and share his message. And that's what I'm doing now. That's it. Just full transparency and trying to make that impact and give people hope and understand that you have greatness inside yourself. I've done it. I've experienced it. And I'm going to have so much more success now than I ever did playing Major League Baseball because I have the intent in the right spot and I'm sharing with my heart. And that's until my last breath, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to share my story. I'm going to speak to people and just try to inspire people to understand, dude, once you get out of your own way, the sky's the limit.
Wow, I've enjoyed this, man, more than I think than any other of the guests that we've had. It's been amazing to pick your brain, Shea, and to know you and follow you and just have you be a part of this. So what is your daily life like now? I know we talked about what you're doing at Shea Hillenbrand .co. They can go there, website and everything like that. But for you, what's a typical day? Do you still get in the cages? Do you still hit? Do you still work out? I mean, does that trick ever go away from you?
Yeah, I could care less if I ever pick up a baseball bat again. The only reason why I would ever pick up a baseball bat again is to be able to inspire and show the youth of what's possible and give them the tips and tricks that I've learned through my program, which is called the MLB Mindset. A lot of people think MLB is Major League Baseball, but for me, MLB Mindset is momentum, language, and beliefs. It's understanding how to master the internal game and create that self-confidence and allow baseball to teach you the failure, navigation, and be able to go out there and continue on and create that discipline every single day. So I do work out. I have to work out twice a day. I have a lot of energy, as you can see. And if I don't keep busy, I find myself getting in trouble and destructing things in my life and not going in the direction I want to go. So I'm speaking. I'm just traveling around the world and just sharing my message, man.
If you had it to do, and we don't get to do this, but if you did have it to do over again, I know you wanted to be a Red Sox for a while. Would you have acted any differently or changed your personality, or Are you happy with the way you were when you were a player?
Yeah, very good question. You don't know what you don't know. I didn't know any different. And I couldn't trust anybody around me. And that's what happens with a lot of professional athletes, especially celebrity athletes. It's hard for us to trust other people because we think in our mind that other people are always wanting something from us. But inherently, what I've experienced myself is I couldn't trust other people because I couldn't trust myself. I couldn't trust if I got backed in the corner because I didn't have a good character. I was always taught that if you just hit, you'll go to the big leagues. And in my mind, if I go to the big leagues, all my problems will be taken care of. What I would do differently now, I wouldn't even tell my 19 or 20 or 21-year-old self anything because I wouldn't listen. So the Shea Hillenbrand now, I wouldn't waste my time with that kid because he wouldn't listen. So I'm focused on trying to be able to make an impact as many people as possible. But I'm telling you what right now, the Shea Hillenbrand, when I played Major League Baseball, I would have wrote the Shea Hillenbrand now $1 million check and say, dude, you're coming with me, and I need you to teach me the way. I need you to help me figure out how to get out of my own way because I was supposed to be a $100 million player. I knew I could hit 330 to 100 RBIs every year, and that's Hall of Fame numbers. I knew I could do that, but I didn't reach that. I reached 1/5 of my potential because of story, because of internal game. So that's what I would do.
Amazing. Just amazing to hear that. I mean, you've been so intimate with us and just giving you that. I mean, I can't wait to see what you guys are going to do and then the future with your speaking and your coaching and the mindset that you're giving everybody. So thank you for sitting with us today. I know it's a football thing. Predictions, do you care? You got any interest?
Yeah, the Packers and the Patriots. Tom Brady with the Patriots. He's gonna. I'm just joking, man. Let me tell you a story real quick that came to my mind when you asked that. My rookie season with the Red Sox. Check this out. This is a football story. Holy cow! My rookie season with the Red Sox was Tom Brady's rookie season with the Pats. Tom Brady was playing behind Drew Bledsoe, so he didn't have his time to shine yet. So what happened was they did a poll in the offseason. Who's the hottest player between Tom Brady and Shea Hillenbrand? Guess who won? I beat Tom Brady with the hottest. The girls liked me in Boston. But let me tell you what, the only reason why I beat Tom Brady in that poll is because the Red Sox were more popular than the Pats. He married a supermodel, man. He's got it going
Yeah,
on.
but now he's posing pictures in his underwear we never thought we'd see.
Why not? I want to see Barry Bonds in his underwear.
We can't tell that story. All right, Shea Hillenbrand joining us
cares
today
about
on
the
Radio
UFC?
Row. That was fun. Just enjoying the day. Thank you so much again. Go to SheaHillenbrand.co. Look and check out what he's done, and then Google him. Check out the crap he did for the Diamondbacks and the Dodgers and the Angels and the Red Sox. And did I miss a team? Toronto?
Blue Jays.
Blue
You're
Jays,
going
yeah.
to see me get in fights with managers, stuff I said about the GM, stuff like that.
Well,
I'm on Instagram as well, Shea_Hillenbrand, with the Facebook and
LinkedIn and all that stuff.
It's all Shea Hillenbrand.
All right. Well, thanks
Love
for
you, brother.
joining
Thank
us.
you.
Thanks for being a part of us. Troy and I have fun. Will grabbing guests left and right. And continue to support us and follow us. And again, don't forget, hey, I got something coming up this weekend, and it's going to be great. It's going to be wonderful, and we hope you can get out there. And Camelback High School for the Pro Stance, Dave Stevens, Luis and Dejas Ability Camp, February 11th at Camelback High School. We're going to try to get as many kids out there and change their lives and show them that, hey, we can do what we can do with what little we got. So thank you, Pro Stance, and of course, Jambar, one of our sponsors for the week. You know, that is a great, great bar. So this is Dave Stevens on Radio Row Rap.
Fun stories. Thank you.
Yeah, whenever you want.
I'll give you my phone.